So if they've ever had a place where they've held a load hostage or they wouldn't pay for a claim or anything like that, then we know that. And shippers don't. They don't normally have any of those tools. They'll just take one that calls in. And it could have humongous maintenance problems. And then they roll and there's oil leaking and the tires are bald and,
True.
all of that stuff. We look at that. And if it has a whole bunch of severes, we say no, you can't haul for us. We make sure that our trucks are, I call them top tier. We don't do bottom tier trucks. We only do top tier trucks. Not to say that we never have a problem, but then we're right there to help you fix that problem.
Right. Yeah. Not because they are dirt bags to begin with.
Mhm.
Yes, I sure enough had my share one of them last week. Oh
Yep.
man, I have had some crazy ones.
And we track them.
And definitely, that's one thing we implementing our and no questions asked is tracking this year. Every driver that's under every one of our loads is going to be tracking. They can't self tracking, we can't use them. That's just how it's going to be. Because
Because a lot of times, tell them, Devin.
Yeah, man, I've had some instances. I can go back to a couple years ago. I had a driver who dispatch who told me a load was going to be had delivered and all that stuff, and I go back and I report that to my customer, let them know the load had delivered, and they call me back after they reached the marshaling yard, and they're like, "Nah, ain't no truck been here yet." They didn't told me the truck got towed. I sent the police out to go look for the truck, and the truck shows up 2.5 days later. I had a truck this past week, that was supposed to deliver on Monday morning. They told me the truck broke down on Sunday. I never got a receipt, not even a location of where the truck broke down at. What shop it was at or nothing. It delivered Thursday morning. They kept it for a week, 1,200 miles. It's only 15 skids. So in that case, if it's 15 skids, it's not a full truckload. A lot of these guys now, they're parceling out your freight. You may go, a lot of times you may try to put on a box truck, but these box truck guys, the larger box truck guys, are charging more, to the point where it's more cost effective to get you a dry van for your loads. But when you do that and you're paying a dedicated rate, you got to make sure these guys pick up and deliver in a timely manner, and you got to keep an eye on them. The only way to keep an eye on them is to track them, because if otherwise they're going to pick up some freight and somebody warehouse took it somewhere else, and they be parked there because they can't get unloaded for a day, and they shoot the shit to you and they say, "Oh yeah, my driver's broke down, his tire's flat." But then you able to pull it up on the map. Okay, now he's at such and such warehouse sitting at the dock.
Okay. Also, if they not tracked, they can go pick up more money, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
They meander all over the place if they can, and they got to stop at a strip club or that. I actually tracked one to a strip club, and I'm like, you need to get your butt going. I said, it's got to be, you got to be here. Well, how'd you know where it was? I said, you do know I'm tracking you, right? So it was, I was like, you need to get out of there.
So what do we use for tracking?
We have
You said what now?
we have trucker tools.
Okay, and so
And
do the driver download their telephone number and we track their cell phone?
Yes,
how does that work?
it tracks by satellite instead of cell towers, and you can pretty much pinpoint wherever they are. But if they refuse tracking or tell you they have a flip phone or something, that's a no-no now. And we will fine them $100 a day for a manual check call if they are not in compliance after they've signed our rate confirmation.
Okay.
The rate confirmation says you must accept tracking. You will be fined $100 a day for manual check calls,
Okay.
And then they were like, "Oh, I don't know, it didn't work and whatever." Boop, $300 in your pocket. And pray that they don't meander around the city with your freight and deliver stuff everywhere else.
Okay. So can we put something in our clause that they can't, I guess, make that trailer a dedicated trailer for your freight versus
Yep.
allowing them to LTL to load out?
Yeah, if you do a partial, they can add freight to it, but you still want to
Okay.
track them if they'll let you. A lot of times
Okay.
they don't want you to track with a partial, but I always try and make them let me anyway. LTL
Okay.
won't track. You know,
Okay.
they're like a pallet service and they're everywhere. But if
Okay.
you do a dedicated truck, they darn well better accept your tracking and be compliant and not be like turning it off, turning it on, going here, going there. Now, if they're not late and they're on the way and they still have plenty of time, they can stop at strip clubs. But I was hunting for my truck and he was at a strip club and he was supposed to be delivering in 20 minutes. You can
Man,
tell where they are if they're going to be early, if they're going to be there on time, or if they're going to be late. And they're telling you, you don't even have to call them. All you have to do is look at your tracking. You're supposed to be here at 6 o'clock and you're 3 hours away. You can get ahead of that with your shipper instead of it just not showing up. You can say, hey, the driver got caught in some traffic or he's right here, he's on the way. Because a lot of times they have people waiting for them to unload and they'll charge you for that, especially if it's a crane load or something.
Yep. Yeah.
So
and
anything
K
that we
knows.
can do to communicate and let these shippers know how hard you're working for them and what kind of great communications you have, if you can squeeze in the door, that's where you're going to be above the rest because every broker does the same thing. They get a truck, they deliver the load, they get paid. But what's going to make us special is we can track our communication. We vet our carriers. We've got great people working for us. There's always someone to answer a question. And that's where you guys come in. That's what you sell, and you sell your relationships with your carriers.
I guess I get over the point of, you know, where you really asking for them, you know, like you kind of got to be not pushy, but you kind of got to be like, come on, what do you have to lose, or well,
Absolutely.
Yeah, confidence, man.
you gotta
Confidence.
you just gotta be like not begging, but you you know what I'm saying? You can't
Big,
convince that.
Man, Tia,
Yeah,
what did your dad tell you when we first started? What was his advice to us? This is the best, only advice he gave us. What did he
big,
say?
big.
hey, I'm gonna be like, hey,
Ask over and
That was
over.
it. Please, what
Yeah,
can I do? What can I do? I'll do anything. Just
anything.
give me one load, a trial load. I mean, what can you lose? Matter of fact, I just want you to compare my price and the price you're getting right now. Just do that for me.
Because
Can you do that? Just send me a quote.
I told
What I got to do?
that one dude, he was like, well, he said, but right now we, you know, yada yada yada. He say, but we usually pick up in the summertime. So I said, okay. I say, well, I'm gonna call you back. I said, I call you back. I said, July good. He said, yeah, call me back in July. We should probably be able to do
I
something. But
call him back in 2 weeks.
I'm gonna hit him back before then, right?
Yeah, wherever he's at, I call him back in 2 weeks. Hey, what's up? What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Did you catch that such and such game? Yeah, that jump was crazy, man. And I know you said you was in the Air Force. Like, what you? Because I
Yeah.
was talking to such, you know what I'm saying? Like, build that relationship so that way, by the time the summertime comes, your name is fresh in his head. Y'all done already laughed and giggled a couple times on the phone. You the
And
first name me thinking of.
what I told him was, I say, well, you can still get signed up with us. That don't cost anything.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Just in case something might happen before then. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so like, oh well, you know, I'm a, you know. So I said, okay,
Send it to them.
but I
Say,
didn't
give
want.
me your email. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
send you this packet. You just fill it out, sign it. Hey, and we're insured, by the way. You know, if you ever go belly up, we're covered. So there. What do you
Mm-hmm.
mean go belly up? You know.
Like I don't know. I'd be kind of cocky with business to business because they got that good credit. You know, I never had good credit, so I just be bragging on. I'd be like, yeah, we got great credit, man, great ratings. I'll send you our package. Just check us out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Forced it on him.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
And then calling back. Did you get the packet? You know, maybe next week I can do a load for you. If you, I'm going to have some trucks, wherever the lane is, or what do you got a lane? Let me go find a truck for you, and we'll just try it out. Remember, we only do top tier trucks. It's going to come in looking good, and then by God, send a good truck in. Don't send
Hmm.
one in that's like limping on 18, half flat tires or anything.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta be very selective with your trucks.
How you know which trucks? I mean, you don't. You don't
Well,
even know.
be selective with. It's a gamble either way it go. I mean, of course you can check the MC number and all that. Of course you gotta just do your due diligence, make sure that
Have a
they
baby.
got a good safety record, and all that good stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I always go off the personality and the vibe on the phone as well. If
Mhm.
you catch somebody, you be like, yeah, bro, yeah, I probably can do this for such and such. I don't even know. And doing all, I'll be like, I'll hit you back. But if I catch somebody who talking with some sense, you kind of know what I'm saying.
It
And
sound
they
like
got
me.
their ducks in a row when they email me. It's prompt when I email the Raycon or whatever case may be. Everything's like this. I roll with them. Communication is a big thing with me because you know your customers, the carrier is the face of your company basically because you're not going to the job site to pick up the freight of the shipper and receiving the
Mhm.
receiver and all that good stuff. That carrier is
Mhm.
gonna be doing that for you. So if you give me a nice professional image through email and phone, which is what I'm doing when I'm selling, then okay, let's roll with it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're yeah man, I don't that's how you gonna show up at my shipper. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's gonna be a continued issue. So it just really like it's a gamble across. I mean, you could do all the due diligence you can, but I kind of just
Yeah.
go off the personality and the vibe at that point, and of course the price. And don't
And
always
What,
think
Kay,
that the
did you
lowest
have
price is gonna
something
be
to
the best.
say?
yes, sometimes you can check. Um, when they go through the weigh station, they do an inspection. So sometimes you can have them to send you a copy of the inspection. Some companies won't take you and they won't let you carry their loads unless you have an inspection. Like some company will say you have to pass this many inspections. And if they've passed those inspections through the weight station, then that's probably like a really, really good company or a good carrier. But that's something we can also look for as far as
Hmm.
like trying to weigh the carriers to see if DOT say you're okay, then 9 times out of 10 you're okay because DOT don't play. And when you go through those inspections, they give you a paper. Some carriers, like some brokers, won't even let you carry for them unless you have like you can send them one of your inspections. So that could be something implemented
Yeah,
also.
yeah, that's definitely something I
Mhm.
want to try to. Hey, and I want to introduce Nancy and everybody to Kay. While I have Kay up on the screen, Kay has over 20 something years in the trucking business. Um, she comes from a very very highly recommended friend. I've known this guy for a long time, and Kay knows her stuff. She runs a dispatching service, so we're gonna add that to our arsenal as well with a dispatching service. That way, we'll have our own trucks and fleet of trucks that we
Yes.
dispatch for. That way, when you're calling customers as well, we have trucks that we can put in certain areas if you're having a lot of freight there, and we can go ahead and be able to take care of that. So, and then
Thank you.
Kay, I just want you to introduce yourself and let everybody know about your experience as well.
Hi, I'm Kay Jackson, and I started driving trucks at 28 years old. I drove for 20 years. I drove straight trucks, tractor trailers, buses. I drove everything that I could drive. I love trucking. Um, about 5, 6 years ago, I wanted to become boss, so I started dispatching for other companies. And then I created my own company. The way I created it is through trial and error. Every company that I started dispatching for, they fired me. But I learned a lot from the company before they fired me. I took everything that I learned and I put it into my company. So I drove over the road, I drove local, um, I drove dedicated runs. I can load a tractor, I can load a straight truck. The only thing that's a little difficult to load is tankers because you have to know if they're aluminum aluminum or steel. So I'm not very skilled in that, but I love trucking. I brought my kids up in trucking. Um, they were
That's
dispatchers.
cool, Kay. I
Thank you.
drove too many years ago.
Okay.
I loved it at the time, and then it got like really old being on the road all the time.
Yes, yes. So me too. And I didn't want to grow old being a big, gigantic, fat truck driver. Here I am, and I'm
Well, I
Well,
think
learning.
probably the most important thing that you guys can do is start calling, start putting your feelers out, start um, when you're driving down the road, look at warehouses, and you're
Mhm.
going to get told no a lot. I mean, really a lot. But that first yes, it's like you go in the closet and you're like yes, and then you come back out and you start talking to them again, and it's really a good feeling to start moving your own freight and knowing your customers and stuff. And eventually, if you, it looks like we have a police officer. Jerry, you're a police guy.
I am.
Okay, I saw you.
yeah, I
I
see
saw
the
you
cruise. I was
walking, and I saw that.
like,
I saw that thing on your shoulder, the microphone. We watch live PD all the time. I'm like,
I
that looks
try to
like he's
hide it.
a cop or a security guard or something. And you can, once you start getting your shippers and stuff, you're going to want to, move them yourself or have Devin move them and be sales. I mean, there's so many different avenues you can take. Being a police officer is awesome. Being with the Air Force is awesome. Owning your dispatch service is awesome. This is only the first step into whatever you want to meander into that will take care of you the rest of your life. And think about it carefully and do it enthusiastically, because it's you can do it, and we're all here to help you.
straight up. I'm like, I know if I can do it, and I did it with no money, and that's the biggest thing I could tell anybody. I get a lot of people that reach out to me and they be like, why didn't you just, become a freight broker and start your own brokerage? I'm like, I didn't have money. I had bad credit. You know what I'm saying? And the best thing possible, like for me, was to be a freight agency. It's little investment. Any investment you're doing is for your internet or your phones, for
Mhm.
yourself. Like I got Jive, like it's $35, and of course my internet, and of course you may have CRMs and stuff. But I started off with just a notebook and paper. Like I didn't have money for CRMs and stuff like that. So it's a minimal investment. The biggest investment is your time and your effort. It's
Mhm.
like you're only gonna get out of this what you put into it. If you put 2 hours a day into it, you can't expect it to take care of you for the rest of your life. You got to be able to fit like that time in. You're going to have to, hey, I got this break right here. For this break right here, I'm going hard on this. You got to fit those times in. Every little second you have free has to be put into this. Every energy has to be put into this for it to work and be successful, I believe.
Yep.
Because the more time
Live
you
on
put
that
into it,
thomasnet.net. I mean, I did. Every time I had a moment when I was learning this, I was on there looking for shippers and looking for industries and looking for ideas and, all kinds of stuff. The things that you don't want to do and get into right away is berry produce, lettuce.
yeah.
Those things are high claim, potatoes, onions. You can get into flowers. Those are good. I have a very lucrative orchid customer. Um,
Mhm.
there's people that have blueberries. Blueberries can go down the road and not bounce and bruise and get ruined. Stay away from raw meat and chicken. It leaks all over the carriers and
Mm.
in the trailers, and they hate it, and they have to go wash out, and it's a nasty mess, and it's gross, and it doesn't make a lot of money. The money is in building products and nuts and bolts and metals and steel and high dollar flowers and anything that goes into a Lowe's, you know, any type of that stuff, niches, freight forwarders, they always need help. Devon's got a couple good freight forwarders. I have a person in Florida that works with a great freight forwarder and makes a crap load of money. And
And a lot of those, they do a
um,
lot of expedited freight, and we have
yep.
some of the best expedited freight programs out there as far as load board access. We really can't be touched. We're like the competition can't beat us as far as expedited rates, killing them.
I have a question because I work for a manufacturing company. What's the best way to approach them?
Approach
Yeah,
what?
that's a good question.
Because
Manufacturing company she works at.
yeah, I work for
Oh,
Forex and we make like medical parts. So like I was wondering like what's the best way to approach them? Because I know once I get off, because I get off around 3:30, but I don't get home till like 4:30. So should I approach them while I'm there on the job? But I think that's kind of, but I don't know.
would you get in trouble for that?
I don't know. I really don't know if I would.
They're going to find out sooner or later if you do. So I would be upfront first and talk to a manager or something and say, "Hey, I'm doing this side hustle. I've got someone that I'm learning from, and you guys have freight, and I would like to know if it's possible to get in and do some of your freight moves for you. I've got a super experienced manager, and he moves a lot of freight, and I'm wondering, if it would be unethical or if we could go in and make some bids on the freight that you guys move.
Okay.
Because if you do it behind their back while you're working there,
Hmm.
they could fire you for that. You
Yeah.
don't want to do anything that would be a little bit unethical, so I would just ask someone straight off the bat. But wherever you're working now, there's competitors.
Hmm.
Look up your competitors. Tell them that you know the freight, you understand where it goes, you understand how it's made, you
Hmm.
know how to transport it. And find all the competitors. Google competitors or similar products to whatever it is that you're making there, and call all of those people and tell them you know what they do and you want to move it.
Okay.
Straight up. And then you can thank your company. I'm sure they have other branches and other locations.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
even if it's, not that location, you're able to get into at least the other locations that they have.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's with
And
any
then
company.
what
Don't stop
makes
at one
your
location.
what is it that you make?
Like the little parts in the syringe. So when you get a shot, it's the little part in the syringe that we make that it kind of filters out. Like we do dialysis parts where it filters out the blood, and we make
Okay.
yeah.
So what do you need to make those things? How do you get that stuff to you? Look at those types of companies. When you ship it out, where does it go? Does it go to distribution houses or something like that, or do you sell it direct to medical companies? But everything that goes into making whatever it is, those little parts of the filters, there's got
Mhm.
to be somewhere where that comes from.
Yeah.
Look into your whole industry. You have to think of the middle thing as the end product, and then there's circles of stuff that makes it. I have a guy at the head office that moves ingredients, sweets, flours, chocolates, um, what goes into making chocolate. He brings in cocoa. He brings in all this other stuff for this big candy place. You know, where do they make applesauce? They got to have apples. You know, call that applesauce making company and see if there's anything you can bring in for them or take out.
Okay.
Gotta analyze everything now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of circles. You can even make those on a tablet or on a piece of paper. What is in the middle of wherever it is? People that make tomato sauce. They got to bring tomatoes in. They've got to have spices. They've got to do this. He moves spices. Um, And then you go out another circle. Well, where does that come from? Where does this come from? Who makes that? And you can have all these circles with competitors within that circle that you can call. To call willy-nilly without taking a look at what it is that you want to move, you're missing a huge opportunity of shippers, of potential customers. So write down lists, have lists of everything. Go to ThomasNet. Where do they make cocoa? Where does it come in at? How do I get into the cocoa field?
Okay.
That's deep. She's spitting them gems out. The Nancy like a wealth of information because when I first started, that's why I want everybody to have the same experience I had when I first started. Whenever I had an issue or a question, the first person I would turn to was Nancy because she would give me more game than anybody else. I can go ask anybody else and they'd be like, just keep calling. Nancy would break it down to me like a fraction. The only thing that was up to me to do was just do the work. That was it. That's it.
Well, and when you move freight, we moved vacuum cleaners. We had tons of vacuum cleaners that we moved on pallets. We moved cheese that was floor load. Ugh, it was horrible. We had to lump it ourselves onto like 20 different pallets in this picture diagram that they wanted it in. And we got paid $40 to do that. Now, if a lumper had to do that, it would be like, oh, that would be like $500 to do that. You suck with floor
Easily.
load cheese.
Easy.
We did it ourselves. They'd give us a pallet jack and say, "Here, go get this stuff." And we'd go into our truck and we'd pull it off onto the warehouse and spread out like 20 pallets and be like humping cheese packets over to places. It was horrible. But we thought we were doing a great thing. We're like, "Ooh, $40." So you know how long ago that was.
Was the 70s?
How old was I? I was 20,
Right.
28 or something like that, and I could be
Right.
50 in 2 months.
Oh, yeah, about
It's a
right.
long time ago. I drove a cab over when cab overs were still there with no power steering. It was horrible.
Yep.
You
And the
was on
steering
back in the
wheel,
day,
the
back in the
steering
day.
wheel was just big.
Yeah, you had to crawl in and put your pants
Yeah,
on laying down and stuff, and that's awful for women. Our underwear goes up our
yeah,
butt and everything. It's horrible.
yeah. A long way. That's funny.
Man, that's crazy. Anybody
But
had
just
any
think
other
about all the
questions?
circles.
My my problem is like I have connections to trucking, 'cause like I said, I've been in trucking with the freight forwarders. But it's like I guess my challenge is what do I actually say? Like I'm hearing what you guys are saying, like, what is the problem lane and stuff like that.
It, it's different with
But
freight forwarders. Like freight forwarders, I'm
okay,
not going after the problem lane. I'm being like, can I get set up with you as a vendor? Because a lot of times they're not
okay,
doing just one lane. That freight is going from everywhere, coming in from everywhere because it's coming in off a cargo ship, off a plane. So they're not going to just do one mode of transportation. It's going to be the dry vans. It's going to be flatbeds. Sometimes they got step deck freight. Everyone's different. It's going to
right,
depend on the freight forwarder though. But when you're calling them, you're trying to get set up as a vendor, an
okay,
approved vendor with them. You're not necessarily going after their problem lanes, but you're just
mm-hmm.
letting them know because the main thing they're worrying about is that tracking system. We're
Mm-hmm.
selling them big on this trucker tools. Every forwarder or shipper I have, they love the trucker tools tracking because they're able to see it and it's buried in macro point for them. Nobody else has that. You let them know we have that. You let them know we have trucks everywhere and we're available, and our pricing is a lot time better than our competition. I had
Now,
one, and a lot of them they use Nolan or go ahead.
now, when you go in and you market yourself, the first thing they'll ask
Mm-hmm.
you is like, what would you charge me to do this, this, and this? So if you walked in with me and I was the shipper and you were marketing yourself to me. And my first question is, what would you charge me to move this, this, and this? What would I ask? Like, how would I
Oh,
say, yeah, that's
easy. I had the situation happen last week. I went next door to the company next door. I handed my business card, and while she was on the phone, she said, "Do I do full truckload?" And she wrote, the load down on a sticky note for me. And I went
hmm
next door. I posted a load, found me some trucks, took the sticky note back over to her, let her know my rate. I went back to my desk, and she came over next door and was happy as hell because my price was $400 less than what she had got quoted by Nola. But it would be the same thing through email, whether you're on email or not. Or when you call them, they'll be like, "What can you do can you do with this load?" Be like, "Okay, give me a couple minutes. Let me work on it real quick. I'll get right
Okay.
back with you." Then you
Okay.
go ahead and post it or reach out to your carrier network, get a good rate for them, go back to them, and take it from there.
But
You want to be able to get a few quotes from your carriers, like post it out on DAT, post it on ITS, and
Yeah.
get a few phone calls, and then kind of go in the middle. You don't ever want the bottom
Yeah.
tier, and you don't want the most expensive one. But if you can talk and make a relationship with the middle one and say, "Listen, I got a quote for this," meaning your high quote, can you do it for this and make it a little above your low quote? And then, make sure that that's a good quote. Look on the rate mate and stuff like that. Make sure that your rates are kind of in there. And then go back and say, depending on carrier availability and when you want
Mm-hmm.
to move this, um, we got the rate will be right in this little ballpark and make it a little bit up and a little bit down, so you have a little bit of movement in there. So if they're like, "Oh my god, that's so high," you can say, "Well, we've got this little bit of $100 range in there." But you don't want to do it for
Mm-hmm.
free. You don't want to be their bottom one, and you don't want to be bidding against 15 other carriers or brokers. You want to maneuver it so that you're the go-to girl or guy, because that is where you make your money, because they're always going to come to you, and you be friendly with them, and you check them out, and you call and you talk to them and segue into a little bit of just chat here and there, and then say, "So when can I get this truck for you? I can't hold him forever." Make it sound like you've got
Mm-hmm.
trucks waiting for him.
Okay.
I still do it to this day with the customers that I done had for years. I quote them on something, and after like 3 or 4 minutes, I'm calling them like, "Your email broke because I emailed you. You ain't say book it, or you told me to hold on. I mean, I can't keep this guy forever. I mean, so
He sure
I
does.
mean, I do it every day. Like I call it, is your phone broke? Are you working today? Because I emailed you back and you didn't respond. So that's how you got to do it. You got to make them
Mhm.
laugh, but they still got to. It's like dating, I guess. You
Right.
still got to keep calling the girl.
Finessing.
is there ever any
Yes.
time?
Totally.
Is there
Like that.
ever a time
Uh-huh.
when you just say no, I can't do something, like just say I need you to, can you move this, or whatever load it is? Is there ever a time where you say
Yeah,
can't do it
Yeah,
yeah,
without even
there
knowing
is.
yeah.
There's
price?
some shippers that aren't worth it. If you're
I
trying
got I got
to,
some that
yeah, go
I
ahead,
won't even
Kevin.
open that email sometimes.
Mm.
Because they're going to beat you down to nothing, and you're working your butt off. Carriers are falling off because they're finding better loads while you're trying to make that $50 profit on an icky load. And I've told people no before. I'm like, "Nope, that's a good rate. You go for it." And then next week they call me back and they're like, "Yeah, I got this really low carrier and he was late and stuff." And I said, "Give me my price and I'll get you a top tier truck." I'm not going for those bottom tier trucks because they're not dependable.
Mhm.
I can give you a super low rate, but half the time that truck's going to fall off while they're looking, while they're waiting for your load to get over there. They're on the boards looking for something that's a couple $100 more. So make it worth your time and make your time valuable and
Yeah,
make them think that you're working as hard as you can to get the best carrier for them. who's not going to fall off the load and do a good job. There are definitely horrible bottom tier trucks, and a lot of them are up there in Chicago with those Russians and stuff. They'll
Oh
be looking
man,
for a load until they load you. You know, and if it's a better load by $10, you're out.
quick.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You mean they'll cancel?
Mhm.
But
Oh, my
yeah,
truck
Yeah.
or
broke
they
down.
just won't
So
even show
sorry.
up.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
I'm
call
so
you and
sorry. My
tell
other
you that.
dispatcher got the truck booked.
They
Yep.
already
Mhm.
on Monday and they get somebody else with a better load that same day, that same,
Mhm.
they'll be like, nope. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
And
So
the shipper covered it. That's yeah. They'll call you and tell
yeah,
you that. The shipper covered it already. Mhm.
yeah. So you don't want those ones that make you compete with C.H. Robinson and
Mhm.
Landstar and TQL. They have horrible trucks, but they're very loyal, and they have low rates, but they're going to drop off. 9 times out of 10, you want a good truck with a good rate, and you have to sell
Mhm.
the customer on service. Is TQL going to call you or let you watch their tracking? Or are they going to vet that
Mhm.
truck? No, they're going to go get one and throw a little air in the tire and send it over.
And
And those aren't the trucks that you want. You want the good trucks and the service that you're going to be 100% available to them at all times for their questions. And that's value.
mm, yeah, what you say?
At all times, they got to be able. And that's I've heard that from other customers, big customers, that they'll go with like a bigger brokerage, but they change their representative over and over again because of turnover or whatever the case may be. And I'm letting them know you don't have no like a change of representative or nothing. It's gonna be me. Like, I'm here to move your freight. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not a fly by night operation. Like, this is what I do. You're going to hear from me. I want to keep calling you every day. Like, pretty much I'm your cousin now. We're family. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's how I hit them up.
if freight, let's say I get with somebody and they say, okay, Gary, I'm gonna give you a shot. You can move some of our freight. So I'm moving their freight, and let's say they call me to move something, and I guess they don't want to do it for the rate that I say that I can do it for. It's no harm, no foul, is it? If I say we can't do that for you, man.
Mm-mm.
You gotta.
No, shoot, I miss loads all the time. I be they'll call me and they'll be like, "Hey, buddy, your $400 too high." I be like, "Damn."
But
That's
they
all I can say. Like,
they call you back though, y'all. They still call you back, won't they?
yeah, it's trucking. I mean, sometimes somebody might catch somebody who is looking for a back haul, or they might got somebody in their care network that can do it, for a lower price or whatever. It's gonna happen. It's trucking. You know what I'm saying? But I win more than I lose. That's the main thing. So if you coming up higher more than you coming up, you ain't gonna never fit their price range. It ain't gonna work. But
I got
you
you.
know, you know the
And when
sweet
you
spot a lot of
start lowering
times.
your prices, if they're like, "Hey, can you do this for 200 less?" and you're like, "Yes, yes, I want to do it. I want to do it." They're going to know you overpriced that load $200, and they're going to be after you doing that every single time. You just got to go,
Oh, you went
So
out?
is
"Dang, can't do it. Call me back when you got another load, or I might be able to come down like 75, but that only leaves me like $50. My boss is going to have a heart attack, so I'll do it once, but don't ask me
I do
again."
it. I do it all the time. I be to make $500 off a load. I'll be like, I could do 50. That's kind of pushing
Yep.
it. I mean,
I
can you
have a
meet me
question.
halfway at 25?
I have,
so is a
okay.
good question to ask. Is a good question to ask. Like if somebody gives you a load, it's a good question to ask, what do you want to move this load for? Is that like something to a good question to
Yeah,
ask? Like what range? Okay.
you can do that. Jerry, you had a question?
Yes. I know I've ran into loads where multiple brokers post the load. How
Right.
do that?
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
I tell my shipper, and I don't know how Devin works it, but I tell my shipper, You know, if you're making me bid against a bunch of people and we've all got this load posted for different rates, it looks really bad, for
Yes.
the carriers because they know that they can call a bunch of carriers and they can get, different rates from them, and then they're going to go with the bottom rate. And I
Hmm.
just don't do it. I don't post a load and and I go in and do a search and there's like 15 brokers. I'll call my shipper and I might like give me a fair rate because I'm
Yeah.
not posting against those people. I am not letting carriers see that I am working with the shipper that is looking for the bottom dollar because I only want to work with carriers who want to make a fair rate.
Yeah.
So do only do what shipper let you know that they're giving that load to brokers and they're going to take the lowest rate possible?
A lot of times, yeah, you can go into DAT and you can do a search loads and you go to the exact same city and town that you are doing and you'll see sometimes that it'll be up there once or twice and you can see who's doing it, what type of reputation they have, or you can see it up there and it's got like 15. Devin and I have both seen that with 15
Yeah.
brokers got it posted. I call back that shipper and I'm like, I just took a look and you've got 15 brokers moving this freight. So either I'm your girl or I'm not your girl because I'm
Yeah.
not doing the lowest rate type thing. And if a shipper is doing that, they're really not worth having.
Mm.
Yeah. I tell them they cheating on me. Like I'm
And
like, oh, so you cheating on
hmm
me? Because
it's
that's for real. Like if you getting, I'm sorry, cut y'all. But I know if they copy you in an email when they send out that quote, you're gonna and they show you like you see in there all these different broker names in that email that they're sending you to for that quote, that automatically lets you know they're sending it out to a bunch all those people, and that's gonna be your competition. And who have that lowest rate is gonna win. You see
Okay.
those right there? Those are not the ones you want.
and to caveat that, I was talking to this one person who he's a freight agent, and we were just talking. He was just trying to tell me some things, and he was saying about that same thing that Jerry was talking about. You too, talking about he was like, I don't even deal with people try to, just go for the cheapest load. You know what I'm saying? Who with brokers who just shoot it out there and want the cheapest rate. He said that's not what I'm about. He said because that usually he said that's not good. He says that's not what
Mm-mm.
I'm for. And that goes a bit back to what Nancy was saying. I
Yeah.
guess you have to cheapen yourself to get down like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you end up doing it for nothing, and it's more trouble than what it's worth for what the little money you might make on it. You know what I'm saying?
And
And,
every
and what?
carrier that is looking at those postings sees all these people posting it. And so you're going to get that reputation of being a bottom dollar broker. And they
Right.
won't even
Hmm.
call you. Even if you're the only one on another load somewhere, they aren't calling you.
Yep. And
And
they'll tell
that's
you
why
straight
we
up,
like
like,
to make
see,
yeah, go ahead.
they'll be like, yeah, C.H. Robinson has this load posted too, and they got it posted for 34. I could do it for you for this rate, So you're gonna have to, you'll know like they have that load posted, and you're gonna, you don't want that because you when you post that, let's say you quote off of ABC Trucking, but ABC Trucking done called every other brokerage that done posted that same load too, and everybody quoting off this same truck pretty much, but it went around going lower and lower for everybody. So then by the time somebody actually does,
You're making all
the
money.
customer does come back and say want to book it, this truck done found something else and went off. And
Yeah.
so now whoever done actually booked the load looks stupid.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying because the low was so low, probably in the meantime, before they pick it up, they could get something else that's a higher price. In other words,
Oh yeah.
make more money.
Mm-hmm.
The truck driver.
I used to move sugar and I moved it I helped another agent move it, and sugar is the heavy, and it is the most cheapest stuff in the world. And I would go through I had 5 loads that I would move a week, and every single load I'd probably cover at least 2 times because the truck would fall off, or they'd go in with peanuts in there, and you can't have peanuts mixed in with sugar. They had these blow-in peanuts, and they were like,
Oh,
"Are you kidding me? We're this is sugar. It sucks up everything." So it would fall
mhm.
off twice, and I'd call and 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 call, and finally I'd get a truck that would actually go in and pick it up, and it would be $100. So I'd get $70 off of that for 5 hours of work for every truck. It was horrendous. I hated it.
Man, I
Don't do
bet you
cheap,
did.
icky stuff.
Cause you
Fall
work
off.
harder for the cheap stuff.
Oh
That's what I
Mm.
man.
learned.
What does
The
fall
cheap
off?
stuff be.
Huh?
Go ahead,
What
Jerry.
I was asking them, what does fall off mean?
Oh, the truck finds another load. It falls off your load.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. It's like, no, my truck didn't get unloaded. I
Mm.
got stopped. I'm in traffic. I'm not going to get there till 9 tonight. And they truly just don't want your cheap stuff, but they took it just in case they couldn't find something else.
I got.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that's what they do.
So that could be
Yep.
a that could be a selling point. Then, if you tell people that you're not going to be the highest, you're not going to be the lowest, but you're going to be a fair price, and let them know that you might could find it
Mhm.
cheaper, but a lot of times people might book that cheap freight that you got just in the meantime as a placeholder, and if something better comes available, your freight might just sit there. And other,
Exactly.
Mm.
You're
so that
selling
For
value.
mine, I'm
You're
giving you a
selling your
truck.
service and value to get them a good truck that they don't have to worry about.
okay, that's all I need.
And you ain't got to ask questions when if something goes wrong. My customers don't have to ask questions when something go wrong. I let you know that is going wrong before it's going wrong. So at least
That's right.
I'm ahead of everything. That's the main thing. You got to be ahead. Communication is the most important tool that you got in this business. Like if your truck's going to be late, or if let's say your carrier calls and say they're going to be there in 30 minutes, let your customer know they'll be there in an hour. That way, when they show up in 30 minutes, they're like, oh wow, your guy got here early. You get what I'm saying? If just always add a little time, like always, what they call it, under promise, over perform.
Yes.
You want to do that. That's the main thing. Don't over promise and then underperform. Like you want to under promise and then over perform. That way you look even better to your customer.
Mhm.
Because you don't want you
And
don't
when
want you
you're
don't want to be
moving
like, yeah, my
25 and yep, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Nancy. I'm sorry, I'll cut you off.
I was gonna say when you've got 25 and 30 loads up there, you don't want to be worrying about people falling off cheap loads. You want to have that value to where you've got a truck that wants to stay on that load. They're like, "Hey man,
Mhm.
I'm running a little bit late. Don't give my load away. I'm going to be there soon, I'm sorry, or I'm here. I'm really here, And we're like, "Yep, cuz I'm tracking you." You know, um
Hmm.
you know where they are. You have that relationship and they call you every time they're in the area. You want to use trucks over and over. I've got a couple of agents that hardly ever put on a new truck, and they move. One moves 4 million, one moves 3 million a year, and they might put on three new trucks a week, maybe, and sometimes not even that, because they've got trucks that they have relationships with that come back over and over
Mhm.
and over. And they'll call
Mhm.
those trucks and say, "How many can you take today? How many can you take tomorrow? Can you go to Montana? Can you go here? Can you go there?" And they'll write them down and they'll call their shipper and they'll say, "Hey, I've got three trucks that can go to Montana and two trucks that can go to Colorado and three trucks that go to California. What do you got for me?"
Mm,
Oh, okay, yeah, I can do this and this and this and this. And you just keep that, you got trucks in front of them all the time, and the trucks are wanting to go back because it's regular freight and it pays nice.
mm,
Mhm. Dedicated trucks.
Yeah, they'll come back for you all the time, because they know there's freight there and they know that it'll pay fair.
Mhm. Mhm. And
that-
Told you,
Oh,
Mama
I think
Nancy be
Jerry's.
sprinkling sauce.
Yeah,
Please, please take them some donuts.
sprinkle a little wisdom. But it's
Take 'em.
because I've done it for so long now, and I want everyone to succeed, and because if you don't succeed, I don't make money, and I want money. You don't succeed, Devin
Yeah.
doesn't make money. Devin doesn't make money, I don't make money. You don't make money, you go back to grocery store working. Who wants to do that? Actually, you
Nah.
guys all look, you look accomplished. We got Air Force, we got police, we got dispatch with their own company. I
Hey,
I don't
mean,
think none
you
of
know,
these people working no grocery store. They good. But we want to
no.
make them even better. I'm like, this industry, like alone, I know it changed my life, and I don't know, everybody's situation, but I know it is possible for it to change your life financially. If you put that work in, that time in, and I'm here. Nancy's definitely here. If I can't help you with any questions, Nancy's always available through email.
Mhm.
I know a lot of time
Text,
during the phone,
whatever.
text,
Yeah.
whatever. A lot of time during the phone, like it's busy during the day. Uh, Even if it's me during the day, if I can't answer my phone, text me, email me, shoot me a hangout message and hangouts, whatever you got to do. But if you're stuck on something, I just want to make sure that you get past it as quick as possible. We're able to help you whatever situation. If it's something you're on the phone with a customer, you need me to be in your ear on mute, I'll do that. Like whatever it takes.
Yep.
But I've done it, been on ear on mute, and be like, I got my operation manager right here, and I click in, and I bring it on home. You know what I'm saying? I will play that role. Whatever I got to do to help you win, just let me know.
Mhm.
And Kay and her team's gonna be in the office with me starting in a couple of weeks, so I'll have that back up right there. Whoop whoop.
Okay, yeah.
Whoop whoop.
I'm
And
trying to
Air
get,
Force, you know
trying to
what
get
you
out. I want to go to the door.
Yep, and Air Force, you know what you move for the Air Force. You know how much stuff they move. They got to move food somewhere. Police,
Mm-hmm.
you I don't know if you stop trucks or if you go to warehouses or if you go to places that have freight.
oh,
Talk to them about it if you can, if you're allowed. I don't know if you are to chat, but if you create conversations with everyone that you talk to. You never know who you say, "Hey, do you know anyone that needs some freight moved? Do you know anyone in the warehouse industry? Do you know anyone that has a manufacturing business? What are you hauling in that truck back there, buddy?" You know,
Yeah.
a lot of times they'll talk to you. Oh,
mm,
hey, I got a load of something something, and you never
Mm-hmm.
thought about that something something.
yeah,
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought about hauling vacuum cleaners? I used to haul a ton of them.
I got my son. He drives truck, so I told him, I was like, man, you need to send me some of them BOLs so I can look and see what's
Absolutely.
shipping this
Those
stuff.
are awesome.
All
Yeah.
of
If you can get a stack of BOLs, you got pickups and deliveries.
I got all my old BOLs I'm going through right now from all my customers from my hot shop freight, and I will
that.
be calling them starting tomorrow.
I didn't think so.
Absolutely. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Oh
if
my
I
God, I didn't think
Absolutely.
of that.
And then
Whenever Tia
referrals.
mom come, give me those BOLs.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna try that and just see. Uh, so we'll see.
And don't forget about referrals. My boss built, I think, what was it, Devin? 60% of his business on referrals.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here. You know mine, my store. I got one customer. Every other customer has been off referrals from that one customer.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yep.
So
And you call someone on a BOL and they say, "Well, no, we don't need anyone right now. When can I call you back?" Or do you know of someone? You're in this industry, the whatever industry. Who do you know that I can make a phone call to?
mm, yeah,
I didn't think of that. I got a million BOLs.
yeah. See,
Yes, you do.
I
You're a
didn't, I didn't
dispatcher.
think of that. I didn't.
Somebody got money sitting on the table.
yeah, I just hooked up. Hooked up.
I'm here. I got a million BOLs right there. I never thought of it. I never, that's why you grow.
And you see,
I
you've
didn't.
got
Hold
those
up.
BOLs with those pickup and those drops. That's your middle circle. How can you build that
Wow.
circle out? What makes that? What makes that makes that? What other
So now,
options does this go to? Who are the competitors for all these circles? You got so many leads and you don't even know it.
I
so
didn't.
they have a shipper and a receiver, the consignee or whatever, right on there.
Constantine.
Constantine, yep.
I,
Constantine.
I'm
Constantine.
focused. Should I worry about the person who receives it too? I mean,
Yeah.
the one who,
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
well, all he does is receive it. So what can he? I'm saying, what? I know what the shipper does. I can go
That's
get
all
some
Jalissa.
business.
So you gonna answer?
What can the receiver do for me? You know what I'm saying?
Same
It's
thing.
awareness.
Who else brings stuff in there? What else can they bring in there? Who
So
else, what else do you get? Where do you send this once you get it? How can you get a warehouse? You're bringing in widgets. Where do those widgets go? Do they get there on time? I could make sure they get there on time.
Every time.
so
Mhm.
I had a question that came in from Jalissa. She said she joined a little late, but did we cover what to say to shippers to get the best results on initial calls? She said, I know we talked about this, but she's getting a hard time getting past. We're not looking for any more carriers, and we're customer routed.
Okay, then I would ask them what customers need help. Are any of your customers having some issues? Can you give me some of their names? Who's having the worst trucks come in? That's got to be frustrating for you, right? Perhaps
Hmm
I can help.
I just gotta stand up.
And then they're saying we're not taking any more carriers right now. That's just a no today. What about tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? The next week, you just never know when is a good time to follow back up with you. That's another question you ask. I know you
Yep.
may be tied up right now. When's another good time to catch up with you? They'll say maybe 6 months from now. Okay, well, I'll just follow up with you in 3 months just to make sure everything's okay. If everything's going smooth for you, then we'll talk again, 3 more months after that.
And
I
here's
don't
my
never
name and
wait
number
for
just
six
in
months.
case.
Yeah,
What's customer routed?
definitely.
What's customer routed again? What's that mean?
You want me to do that? Well, customer routing meaning
Yeah.
like basically the customer or the person, like let's say if it's Nestle, right? And Nestle gets their chocolate from Zumba Chocolates, right? Nestle will set up a truck to pick up from Zumba Chocolates and bring their freight to them or take wherever it go versus
Okay.
Zumba Chocolates.
Okay. I got you.
Means the customer does all the work, the warehouse doesn't get the trucks. And a lot of warehouses don't deal with getting trucks anymore because they're busy. But a lot of times they can give you names of people that do need help. Who needs help? Who has crappy trucks coming in? I want to talk to them so that I can help them out.
Okay.
So everybody kind of understand everything and it makes sense and everything.
Yeah, I got another question.
Yeah.
Uh, when we're approached a potential customer, how do we present ourselves? Are we presenting ourselves as Hudson Freight? 'Cause I think the carrier package say
Yeah.
B2B.
Everything's business to business logistics, BTB logistics.
Okay.
Hudson Freight is our agency. That's the way you're getting in. But everybody here, the final goal is to be your own agency. So I don't want y'all to get tied into the Hudson Freight name. Everybody's a sub agent of Hudson Freight, but we're all agents of business to business logistics. Um, just make sure you carry yourself professionally, knowing that it's a very established firm, so it's like they have standards as well, which I sent protocols to everybody, but that's just the main thing. You represent business to business logistics, so I try to just make them look good, in the industry because we're not trying to move like you know the competition. You know what I'm saying? I like business to business logistics. Their reputation is very good. Even when I call most shippers, some of them may know business to business or work with us before, so it's just good to just keep
Yep.
the rep good.
And you can also say, right now I am training under Hudson Agency, with Hudson Freight Agency, which is under the umbrella of business to business logistics. But you always want to use business to business because that's who's going to be invoicing them.
That's Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Big Daddy's up in
For
Chicago.
real. Yeah. I mean, I'm planning on taking another trip out there. hopefully sometime in February, once everybody gets settled in and my team is running smooth, you know, anybody who wants to come, let me know. 'Cause I just want to go up there. I want to try to go up there at least every few months just to get that replenished. Because how they run is so smooth up there, So you can learn a lot just from going up there, just seeing how they run things, ask a couple questions, and watch the other guys work.
Yep, and Matt's a really cool guy, and we hope to have a agent meeting this year. We didn't have one last year. It was kind of right in the middle of a bunch of stuff going on for a bunch of the agents, but all of anyone that's working with Devin is welcome to come. And the last time we had one, it was in Tampa. We all pay for our own way to get there and stuff. We have a meeting, we talk about stuff, we throw out ideas, um, and then we have fun. We some of us that year had a little too much fun, I think, but it's just a good time.
Whole lot of drinking going on.
There was. We're gonna have to tone that down a tad, but it's a lot of fun. We meet each other, we get ideas off of each other. Try not to fall down and crawl to our rooms.
Man.
It's just a good time. We do a lot of one-on-one stuff. Devin and I went out to dinner, and then I went out to dinner with Devin and Dan and Brian, and that was fun. And then all of us went out to dinner. Tia came down, and all of us went out to dinner. And Matt pays for like the Saturday night dinner, and we all talk, and just it's really a good time. And we want to find a venue that has a good airport hub. We may end up going back to Chicago this year because Matt knows all the good places to go, and there's hotels right there, and we can also go into his office and see how things are run, see how things are done, talk to people, good crew there. And it's
Yeah, they got
really
a
a
lot of
lot of
knowledge
just
too.
information getting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. That's why I went for it, like that knowledge. Like it wasn't even so much like I got a lot of knowledge from Matt, but just talking to the guys that are in the office every day, the dispatchers and stuff like that, because I had never myself been to freight brokerage office. I did everything on my own. I just kind of like took it off YouTube and went. But to go and actually see the things that I was doing is the same things that they kind of do, made me feel more positive about what I was doing and more confident. You know what I'm saying? So I recommend anybody, like, hey, if once they do, have the date scheduled for the next agent meeting in Chicago, make time for it. By then, hell, y'all will probably be from under my umbrella and be your own agencies by then. I know y'all will be on your way to this $1 million book of business pretty quick, huh?
Yep, and create your LLCs.
Book of
Tia
business.
can help you with that. You all need LLCs because you'll be commission based, and you can write off all your stuff that she knows everything that you can write off for your LLCs, and it'll protect you when you're an agent yourself from anyone coming after your personal stuff. So it's a good layer to do, and all of the agencies have their own LLC. So think of a really cool name, not long or hard to spell, because people will misspell it in your email and you'll never get them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
Business
made
to
mine
Business
real simple.
Logistics
Hudson Freight.
LLC is a long one,
Got
but they
nothing.
call it Ship BTB.
And then I'm country, so they be like, when I say business to business, beanie to beanie, they call me country. I'm like, yeah, business to business legit. They be like, business to business. What that is? I'm like,
Country, you're
you want me
hood.
to slow it
That
down,
sounds hood,
business to
Devin.
business. Hey, when I let them know, that's who you getting. You getting me. I'm not going to put on, I am me. And they love it.
We have
Somebody's going to love you for you.
Marcus.
You don't have to put on.
Marcus is from the South too. He lives in California, but he's going to the South. And I swear to God, if I hear, listen to what I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying. Do you hear what I'm saying? I guess I don't know if they say that in the South, but he says, "Oh, that's South." That's South. Do you hear what I'm saying? Listen to what I'm saying now. Listen to what I'm saying now. I'm like, Marcus, I can do nothing but listen to what you say.
That's me. Know what I'm saying? Know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yes.
you feel me?
Create your freight agent personality, and people will love you.
Yeah.
It's definitely personality. That's all you got. I mean, if you're over the phone, and you never seen this person in person, then hey, all they can go off of is your voice and your energy. When you call them, that's all they're going off of. They
Yep.
don't know you personally unless they're in your city. If they're near you, hell, pull up on them. Take them some Chick-fil-A. Be like, how many people in your office? Let me order y'all some Papa John's today or some pizza,
Krispy
or
Kreme.
Krispy
Yep.
Kreme donuts. That's simple stuff. It's not gonna cost you that much. If you want to go high end,
Right.
be like, hey man, let me take you to the strip club. Let me take you out to dinner. Just do whatever you can to
Ew.
get into these places. I've done it. Like I'll take you anywhere you want to go. I done ordered pizzas, even though the pizzas was late, they still got there. I did whatever I had to do. Like
Well,
you gotta
Devin,
really want
I
this, man.
I
So
said, Devin, I want to come down and visit you, and he's like, yeah, me and Tia will take you to the strip club, and I'm like, what? I want to see boobies? Are you crazy? He's like, no, it'll be
you
fun. I'm
cannot
like,
come to the
no.
A. That's why I told Matt them. I said you gotta have the agent meeting in Atlanta. We will have it at Club Cheetah, and we will all eat in the restaurant there.
Like that's what those girls want to see is a 60-year-old lady waddling in there.
You're coming there with the ones.
The
All
big
right
tipper.
now, don't
Big
don't
tipper.
touch that. Don't do it.
That's right. That's funny.
All
Oh
right, guys.
man. Well, that's what's up. I really appreciate everybody. I know everybody got, early morning tomorrow, but I appreciate y'all taking the time. I hope this was helpful. I appreciate you, Nancy, so much for taking the time out
No
your day
problem.
because I know you got an early morning like me. And I just hope y'all just have the most success this week. And if y'all need me, reach Tia, whatever y'all got to do. Let's just make your dreams come true.
Yep. Good luck, you guys. Good luck. I know you're all going to be great at it.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank
Get
you.
those BOLs.
Kill them phones this week.
All right. Then.
Talk to y'all later.
Y'all take it easy.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Nancy.
Bye-bye.
That was cool.
I should be out of here. Let's try to get out of here. Hey.
Okay, gotta go.
Yeah, what did you say? What did you say to do the EIN? I submitted my thing for the name. The state of Georgia, and it came back. They denied it the first time because they said that it was another business with that name. So I reached, but then I was thinking, I was like, man, I need to get an EIN. So what did you say we had to do to get that EIN? What's the site we had to go to?
IRS.gov. What name did you pick?
Well, the one I picked was JF Logistics LLC, but they denied that one, so I just put the next one. I just put JFL Logistics LLC. Jones.
You didn't check.
Huh?
You didn't check the Secretary of State to see if it was.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one because they do it when they've been dissolved too. They said this business, the name was already dissolved. It was a business that had been dissolved, but it hadn't been 5 years yet. So I got to go back. So even if you had one that's current or that's not current, as long as even if it's dissolved, it has to have been 5 years past, and that's what they said. Yeah. So I mean,
so the one that you chose the second time, it was okay.
I just chose it, so I don't know yet. I just chose it last week. Yeah, this past week. Cause I just got the letter like Tuesday or Wednesday or something, and I just put another letter in it. JFL Logistics. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But so once they approve that, then go ahead and get the EIN. So luckily you didn't get the EIN yet.
No. Well, so you gotta wait for that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that way, you know that you good as far as the name is concerned before you get that EIN, because then you have to do a DBA and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
it's just best to wait.
Yeah, Devin, man, I'm getting started. I'm getting started on that list you gave me, man. I'm gonna start
Hey,
calling.
man.
Yeah.
You go time, man.
Oh, yeah, man. I ain't got nothing but time, man. Right, once school is over in May anyway. But once school,
So I need you 110%. When school up, by then you should have you about two or three good shippers already.
hey, I'm working on it, baby. I'm working on it, man. But
Feel me?
come May, hey, once school is over, I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing else to do.
Man,
Give me something to
bring
do.
them business cards out, man, because it was crazy. Like, I done had there's a lot of people in that complex, in that area. I ain't never thought just to go in there and hand them a business card. I go and hand her the business card. She was like, she on the phone, she like, "Bull truck load." I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, hell yeah. And she was like, tell me a little piece of paper. I was like, I'll be right back.
Look, what I'm gonna do, maybe sometime in the summer when school's out, I'm gonna come by there so I can learn how to put some stuff in the system too. You know, because eventually I'm gonna have to put some of my own stuff off in there. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I can.
That's the goal.
Oh yeah, because that's where the work is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when you got to sit there, because you see me. And that's when you're going to be like, okay, I don't need nobody talking around me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because you got to.
You telling everybody to shut up. You stressed out because you trying to get a BOL. You trying to get that rate con together. You got the driver calling you. The customer calling you like, what's my load number? How soon is my driver going to be there to carry? Like, I'm not sending my driver till I get the rate confirmation. Hold on, sir. Sir, hold on 1 second. You trying to punch the numbers and shit.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, Devin.
this is work getting the people, but the real work come in that technical stuff that you got to.
Servicing,
Yeah, that's
man.
the hard work right there, and being
organizing.
Yeah.
You get to the point you got 20, 30 loads in movement at one time, and you got to be able to know when you get up by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they want to know where all them loads at.
Man, you be taking blood pressure pills. I know you got to have it.
Damn right.
Cause that's why I don't. That's why sometimes you be like you want to get big, but you don't want to get too big because you know, not y'all, because that's y'all. But me, I ain't trying to rule the world. I just want enough to where I can get some. You know what I'm saying? Get some good money coming in and be manageable with my stuff. And
you get addicted to it, man. It'll get to the
point. I know
you get to the point you might have you a $5,000 a week, and then you get to another $5,000 a week. You be like, shit, let me do 7,000 next week. See what that hit.
Hey, you chasing that high, baby. You chasing the high. That's all it is.
It's like a game.
It's
I'm telling you, man. You gonna be like,
hey, you seen the Wolf of Wall Street? You seen the Wolf of Wall Street? Tell me you seen the
what now?
Have you seen the Wolf of Wall Street?
Damn right.
Hey, that boy played that part, man. Them boys was about, hey, that's the same thing. Them boys was some selling machines, wasn't they?
Yeah.
Selling
machines. That's the only way you gonna get it though.
But it's about
that's the only way you gonna get it though. You gotta be a freaking selling machine. I never thought I'd be in sales, but shit.
But look, at least you selling something legal. At least you selling something legal.
Right. It's legal, you know what I'm saying? And really you end up making more than the dope boys.
Of course.
You pull up on it and be like, dang man, how you do blah blah blah. I'm like, man, I told you could learn this shit. But you talk, nah man, I wanna do that little bit.
Man, where you at?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's breaking up. Hey, I think we got disconnected. So hey, we'll just holler later.